Obviously, they did manage to outslay the guys onto Rift. Now, going to be interesting to see whether or not they can actually continue that, whether or not that will kind of stay the course for the rest of this as we go into the uplink.
And I think if you are fabE right now, you've got to learn from the mistakes that you've made onto against Splice.
Yeah.
Like I said, they played against Splice those first 5 minutes. They were playing extremely well. They were dominating the kill feed. They were putting the pressure on, but they couldn't capitalize onto those kills, and they weren't making the right use of the specialist abilities.
Yeah.
On the second half, they just got outplayed by Splice. So this time around, they need to kind of slow the game down. Doesn't matter how many kills you make. You got to make them count. You got to make those kills at the right time and make sure that you're going to be working towards control of the map to allow your drone to go towards points. Because it doesn't matter how many kills you make in uplink if you're not going to score any points.
No, that's true. I mean, this is where, I mean, for me, it's really kind of adapted uplink a little bit, just into the fact that we see a lot of specialists actually come into play. And for me, that's massively important here. Now, for me, a lot of uplink games ended up coming down to specialist-based plays. Now, there are typical tactics you can use on uplink, but a lot of it comes down to how efficiently you use your specialists. And that's why the specialist draft is actually going to be super important.
And I agree with you, and one thing I was very surprised to see with Splice, and I think that was one of the first time I've seen it be so influential, is that usually you see those abilities being very influential. The camo allowing you to make a two-point play, the heat wave trying to save the situation, but we've seen Oki with that Tempest picking up a 7-kill streak, making all the kills happen, and allowing Splice to go on a relay.
If there's one map where the plays do come out a little bit of that kind of, I want to say, the pocket of specialist-based plays, it's this one. Simply because some of the routes you can run here are fantastic. Now, interesting to see on the ban and protect, or if an afterburner is going to be banned. Now, for me, afterburner not being banned actually makes a few plays a little bit easier to make on this side. There's a lot of wall running points, a lot of easy ones you can make if afterburner is in. It just makes it a little bit easier. It's not perfect, and it's not necessary, but it does make it easier. Same thing we usually see on evac.
Yeah, and we can also see this afterburner being used to keep that drone alive down the wall side. So many times you see the players knowing that their teammates aren't alive and they wait for them to spawn in and just want to gain time. They're going to go
wall stalling,
Yeah, they go on the wall and just run around the wall. And if you don't have afterburner, at some point you're going to fall off. But if you have it, you can literally keep that drone alive for a minute.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those tactics that it's just kind of, the players have obviously practiced it, and they know how to manipulate the mechanics of movement on this game to the nth degree here. Afterburner makes that easier, especially with wall stalling like you're talking about, to actually be able to pick that off. And I said it's one of these things where if you're holding it, it's great, because if you hold it on the wall, because if you die, it drops and it resets, right? So it's an auto reset. But the issue comes, and we've seen this once or twice, it doesn't happen very often, but if you're wall stalling, your team gets the advantage, you're like, well, now I've got to get off the wall. Sometimes you see players kind of panic, and they try to boost away without realizing they haven't got that boost left, and end up dropping and resetting anyway.
They should, I mean, every time you do that, you should make the pass.
Yeah.
You just don't risk it. Make a pass and drop that left ball, that drone on the left side of the map. However, the ban and protect is going to come in once again. And are we going to see the same things that we've seen on the first map?
Mancy says no.
Straight away, Kiwi, we need to shut you down. That's what it says to me.
Barca have kind of turned around and go, well, you take away our toys, we'll take away yours.
And that's so weird, because Barca and Torres, to me, are really good with that.
I just don't think they appreciated how good the M8s actually were. Now, you got to remember that last game, it was things like Kiwi breaking hills that really caused an issue for the team of Rift here. But they must have had facing similar issues against the M8. Ryder banned the flashbang again, which means they're probably going to be a concussion bang next. Overclocker's gone. That's actually going to be Gun Elite.
Concussion is going well played. Nice prediction. I want to see what fabE are going to ban now. Probably rapid fire high caliber, I would expect.
Well, yeah, those are the two kind of key things here, and for me, it's always kind of interesting, right? Because you expect them to be banned in 99% of the games. High caliber is the one that will be banned more often than rapid fire.
Rapid fire can sometimes stay in.
Some teams don't mind actually forcing the other team to play with or without
Revolt Minds.
Revolt Minds. He's going to change it at any point soon. So it's now Kiwi, and Kiwi is under this great position where he can pretty much dictate if he wants to change something massive. I'm not sure what I mean. If he say banned up, no, it's not massive.
Especially not on uplink. No. I don't know if I agree
with
that ban, Bryce.
I would have seen would have liked to see what he would have done with maybe ban out the CUDA. Throw something in there to throw something off or something.
Maybe he wants to use the CUDA.
Yeah, or maybe ban out the XR2 or the Man of War. Something like that. Something that if your team's okay with it and you're under that position, if you know you can adapt and have that, you basically have that free. You can go, this is how we want to play.
And I exactly like the same idea applied to the ban that Barca has made to choose.
That's a good point. The one thing that wasn't banned was overdrive.
Twice. It's been twice.
Yeah.
The first game twice against fabE. It wasn't banned either. So fabE clearly, they don't mind having overdrive in the game, which is something we see banned all the time.
In Uplink, if you are going to see two specialist bans,
Camo.
It's Camo and overdrive.
They're both open.
Both of which are available here.
So they don't mind the use of specialist, which is kind of unexpected because you always see one of them.
So Necron's probably going to end up taking. He's got to realistically think about taking. He's going to take the Scythe here. I can't really agree with this. I mean, you've got active camo and overdrive left into this one. If anything, it's Mancy should have taken one of those two rather than the Annihilator.
Or even Ryder. So
Revolts
they don't have the camo.
Overdrive. They don't have the camo.
So towards this one, I'm going to call it for fabE.
I think fabE have drafted better there.
Yeah,
I don't think you need two lethals, especially on this map. You really don't need two lethals.
Yeah, and to come back to...
and if you do, I probably would end up taking the Tempest over the Annihilator.
Yep. And I wanted to come back to that M8 ban because to me, it came from Barca. Yeah. And I was very surprised because I've never seen Barca played with any other weapon than M8, and maybe he played with the ISL on the map before. But to me, that says I recognize that Necrom has outplayed me, and this is a very selfless play. And this is why I think fabE are in a good situation right now, because you pointed as well, using overdrive and using active camo means that you've recognized that these two are open and are probably the best for your team. On the other end, like you said, we see Annihilator, Heatwave. I don't agree. One of them two should have picked out active camo, and it kind of proves...
The Annihilator bothers me, and it bothers me for several reasons. That I cannot think of a scenario where it's going to be very, very hard. Now, don't get me wrong, it can happen, but it's going to be very hard to use that as efficiently as you can. Think about what he could have taken. He could have had that active camo. Now, how many two-point plays have we seen off of an active camo? So many.
Watch Zero play. If Zero plays in uplink and camo is open, you're going to see him score at least 6.
Yeah. So like I said, it's one of those ones here when I'm trying to kind of think about where he's going to push. And not only does he need to, use that Annihilator efficiently, but he's got to hit his shots. It's not, it's not easy to use that here. I mean, the side, you can just hold it down and kind of drag it in. With the Annihilator, if you miss, a lot of these players, especially at this level, will just take you down.
Yeah, and I fully agree with that. I think Annihilator is one of the hardest lethal specialists to use.
If you get it, it's a great montage piece, and it can make a great play. But you got to remember here as well, one of the key things about this map is overextends.
Yeah.
You see, how many teams do we see overextend to get enough bodies up to actually put that drone home?
And there's a lot of close quarters as well. Yeah. So Annihilator definitely being hard to use in those close quarters.
Yeah. Well, we're going to find out whether or not Mancy can actually end up proving us wrong here as we go into Breach Uplink. Do you agree with us? That's kind of the curious thing. Keep on Twitter, keep tweeting in. We do read your tweets, so make sure they come through thick and fast. Went a bit Essex there.
Yep. Using the hashtag CWLPS4 and EGL Open. If you want to interact with us, however, going into that second map, it's going in favor of the German so far. Brycey, who would have saw the German showing up in England, dictating the rules 1-0 so far.
Well, let's jump on board with the man of the last game. It was Kivy. He's got that Kuda long barrel grip and quick draw.
Told you, he's going to use that Kuda. He's not going to ban it because he's going to use it.
Well, let's have a little look here and see how this all goes down. And you're actually going to see Torres go forward first of all. So this is all going to come down to these very first few kills.
Yeah,
and let's do a control. Look at this slow control here. Going to go in for it now. Endo going to pick up that kill as well. Kivy not actually picking up the try. Now he picks up looking for that. Trying to get the hit. Oh. Is going to be able to get as well. Kivy kicking this one off with a two-piece. However, his teammates are not there. He has no blockers. So he's going to have to back off. Now, looking for this one around orange. He is using Afterburner.
Oh, and Kivy going to pick up a third kill. That's already 2 million kills for him. Kivy just staying alive no matter what the situation is. Surely going to drop that ball because he wants to make those kills happen. Not going to find the force as Necrom shuts it down, picking two of his own.
Necrom's okay. He seems to be running it. He's going to pick up the Pharaoh. Has gone down as well. And the Pharaoh on this map, I actually quite like it. Some of the sightlines, especially around mid-control, really favour this gun. I mean, the Kuda's a great weapon as well. So I don't know if we're going to see the Pharaoh the entire way through. I suspect some players may end up switching off of it and going back towards the Kuda.
Yeah, I think so as well. And we're seeing XR2s being used. I would have expected to see some Man Wars on this map.
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't actually seen any yet here. However, Mancy will actually go for this one now, and he's looking for it. Is he going to go for the one-point play here?
Is Zol alone?
He's going to go for it. It's no, but he's in a position for an intercept, but he misses. not able to quite get that one either. Revolt's trying to get in a position, but it has been reset, so he's now going to want to make some kills. Picks off one. His teammate Necrom is just holding, ready for this one as well. And Necrom's actually going to be shot at. That armor half gone, almost completely gone. He is going to go down. Didn't really have any support there, so he's going to be kind of a reset. Yeah. Ryder has to stay alive here. He's massively outgunned.
And Torres playing with that Pharaoh. I was wondering who was, but I'm looking forward to see what Torres and Gunelite actually both playing with that Pharaoh. So that Pharaoh definitely being used on the fabE side and working in Gunelite's favor. The captain picking up 3 kills to his name and locking that overdrive.
However, Torres will now have drone control. He's looking for it, tries to get it down, but no. Ryder takes it away from him, and Ryder could be home free here. This time, can Ryder hit that one? That's what they're going for. Interception's going to go up. Do they get it? No. Ryder will knock that one home.
Opening up the scores is going to be Rift, going to be in control for the first time. And if you're Rift, you just need to...
There's that man of war.
Yeah, there it is. So deadly.
It is. Now, who's actually got drone control? It is going to be kivE. kivE will have active camo. Now, if I remember correctly, all the specialists are actually coming up as we speak. So there's also an overdrive active here for fabE.
Ooh, kivE gonna stay alive. He's got the active camo available, so it could well be a 2-point play.
And one of his being teammates used as well. They're burning. A lot of specialists come through. Ryder,
all of them,
clutching up once again here. And it's going to be Revolt that will actually have drone control, and he has overdrive as well. This is not a good time to use it, though.
Help me understand why did Gunelite use that overdrive in this situation? Because he did use it.
I don't really know. However, now Revolt's going to go for it. Now he's going to use that speed. Just powers past to the fabE squad. Going to go for the 2. Oh, little bounce. Does manage to get it in. That player actually stopped him. A bit of a body check coming in.
Well, that would have been funny because that would have been like a rugby play to stop the player with your body. However, the EMPs are still very, very being used in this game. We've seen a lot of EMPs, and sometimes it can really make those AR players struggle. But Rift is not going to have it.
I don't know if you can hear that as well, Jonas, but it does sound like Rift are getting loud here. Ryder again will have control here, and he's really making up for it this game. Trying to get another one in, lands it as well. Ryder knows his uplink.
He does, he really does, and he's been more successful than his teammates at unlocking these one-pointers.
Oh my goodness, MR6 coming in. Necron picks it back up. He's ended up going down as well, and it does seem like right now fabE has to stabilize. They're getting pushed all over this map at the moment. And you see Torres here. We'll now bring it back to mid-control. And they're going to take it down. Oh, what a shot. Takes it down as well. Reflexes coming in from him. Yeah,
Torres with the right play, with that Kuda. Just switching from that Pharaoh to that Kuda is almost admitting.
I did say that's probably going to end up what's going to happen here. Kuda very, very effective, especially if the tempo of the game picks up.
Headshot against the kinetic. Menzi definitely done his own work and straight away shooting for the head when Torres could have made that 3-piece happen. kivE just staying alive in the middle of the map, and he's going to have the support of Gunelite picking up that 2-kill.
This should be a play for them.
The fabE players now using the Kuda instead of the Pharaoh.
Well, here we go, on board with kivE. And kivE should get a 1 off this at the very minimum. Just use that active camo. He went though. Oh, denied!
Oh, no.
Sit down and get out.
Oh, wow. That was such a great play out of Rift, and that's exactly the kind of specialist use you want to see out of your teammates. Picking up that perfect time to make kivE fall off the map, using that active camo. Specialist against specialist, that 8th wave just beat the camo.
Oh, here we go. Looks like they're trying to go for this one, but the reset now finally comes in. Revolt's actually in a position to say no. I don't think he's in a position to do anything about it, though.
No, he's not going to pick up that.
He's not going to be able to get a 1. However, I just want to talk about Heatwave for a second, because Heatwave is one of these ones where we talk about, not only is it great for breaking hills, and you can win, you know, maybe 1 or 2 gunfights off it, the drawback of Heatwave being that you can hit your teammates, but also that it shuts down other specialists, it shuts down streaks. I've seen it take down Cerberuses. It is a very efficient one if you can use it properly, and that's what happened there.
To me, honestly, Heatwave is the best ability you can get because it's also one of the fastest to load up.
Yeah.
So if you can get that Heatwave after, overclock duo, then it's such a great combination. You just need to make sure that your teammates are going to be able to keep up with the streaks. However, it seems like we have a small issue inside the game. The game's not going to be stopped. However, Revolt killing himself, and I'm not sure what's going on here, Brycey.
I'm not entirely sure. It seems like we have a small issue. Not entirely sure
what is going on. We can be sure about is that it's 4-0.
Yes,
towards
it's
Rift
definitely 4-0.
at the alpha of the game, and I think that's where we're going to stop. Probably one of the players having some hardware issues. I'm sure we'll be the first ones to know.
Well, we most certainly will here, but let's just talk about, you know, go back to the Heatwave. Now, obviously, it's one of these ones where you kind of sit there and go, well, realistically, it is one of the most efficient ones, and we see it picked in almost every game mode. There's not a game mode where you wouldn't pick Heatwave as a choice.
Yeah.
simply because it's so versatile. Like I said, you already saw it there. I mean, what an